And a lot of times as an engineer, I had to come back and say like, hey, there's like half the design missing.
Again, think you're working with some bad designers. These are...
Most engineers will feel that, but this is the most annoying thing, I think, to us engineers.
Yeah, no comment. But I do think, you know, you have eyes.
In this video, we want to answer the question, who is more annoying, designers or engineers? And this is why we went through 5 of the most annoying things we engineers think about designers and designers think about engineers. And this is why I'm here in Lisbon with Kim.
Hi, my name's Kim and I'm a designer. I run my own design studio called Design for Good Club, where I do branding and website design for conscious companies. I regularly work with developers who are more annoying than me.
And I'm Leo, I'm an engineering manager and I've worked a lot with designers, and in this video we want to find out who is more annoying. This is why we came up with the 5 most annoying things about designers or engineers. And we will go in reverse order. So it means the most annoying one comes at the end. Do you want to start?
What's at the bottom of my list first? So I think it's really annoying when you say it's going to take you 2 weeks to do something, but I know that it's not going to take you 2 weeks. At most, it's probably going to take you 2 days. And you've added loads of buffer into that so that you can spend more time on Reddit. Yeah, that I find.
Where we spend the time, I don't know, but you're right. I think engineers, usually we underestimate, so a lot of times we add estimates, but I can see that it's very annoying for designers. And my least annoying one on the list is not involving the engineers very early on and asking if something is technically possible.
Oh. Yeah, it can be annoying. I guess it is on the owner. Like, as a designer, like, you should. Like, if you're a good designer, you will ask those questions at the beginning.
Yeah, true.
So,
but
yeah.
a lot of times also the development process is so chaotic that it's not really clear when to ask and when to involve people. But in general, you would agree, right? The earlier you involve the other one.
100%. I think maybe you're just working with some bad designers.
Yeah, maybe. Some of them. I work with really fantastic ones, but...
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, just shout on all the designers you work with. Okay, so this follows on nicely from your point. Number 4 for me is when I ask what's possible design-wise to build, and you say, well, technically anything is feasible. That's not very helpful. I know, but what I want to know is what's feasible today within the current constraints of our tech stack.
I get it. Yeah. It's just us being arrogant that we can't technically build everything, but it might take a year. I take it. We should tell you what the realistic estimate is, right?
Yeah. I found in my experience that what works really well is when you've got a designer, developer collaborating and you're talking through all of the possible options that are available. So maybe you've got like one version which is, you know, low effort and like, you know, medium to good like UX. Or then like, you know, another option that's like high effort, but it's, you know, probably the best practice in terms of user experience. So,
yeah. I forgot how it's called, but this chart, right, where on one axis you have effort, on one axis have the impact, and
exactly.
That would be good. My 4th point is when designers forget states. So things like the empty state or dark mode, or that something is disabled. And a lot of times as an engineer, I had to come back and say like, hey, there's like half the design missing because all the states are still there.
Again, think you're working with some bad designers. These are like the fundamentals. I mean, those are, classic examples of the types of things that you should be doing as a designer. But I guess in like an ideal world, like we're collaborating so closely together that, you know, we know that those are the states that you want to have design, I guess, Yeah,
I think most of our points come down to collaborating more and earlier, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is your 3rd point?
Okay, let's see what I've got. Oh, yeah, this one. This one really annoys me. When I give you the designs, I've handed them over and I've clearly marked the spacing, and then you come back and you're like, yeah, finish the designs. I look at it and I'm like, spacing.
I totally see what you mean. I think a lot of times in engineering, it's, if you're not working with a very well-defined design library, it's hard to like exactly fit the spacing, and then to make it pixel perfect. I think also to play it back, that's sometimes bad engineers. They're a bit lazy because we just do it good enough. And like we often don't see it, right? A lot of engineers don't have the eye for the alignment or the spacing or something. So I think that's the reason.
But I do think, you know, you have eyes. So like it's a bit like spot the difference, right? Actually, one of my like friends has this really great idea of like showing back the designs and saying, can you see the difference between them? Like spot, yeah.
I think honestly, at this point, I'm on your side, because all of the times when we do PR reviews and when we review the code of other people, I also spot this, like, hey, there's a difference, but I'm also interested in design, and maybe you develop this eye over time.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people don't have that, and then you get like, kind of,
yeah.
but I know that it's super annoying.
Okay.
Especially for you that like pay close attention to the spacing, right?
Yep.
Okay, I do my third point, but don't say again that I work with bad designers. But my third point is designers that block the development process. A lot of times we start a new feature and we engineers, we cannot start planning, or we don't know exactly what to build if the designs are not ready. And in my experience, a lot of designers, they worked on multiple projects and they took a few weeks until we had the designs, but then maybe the development work is not even that much. What do you think about it?
You're working with bad product managers? No, so like, I guess everything kind of comes down to coordination of time, and making sure that you're getting the designs at the right point. I think the tricky thing is, and you've probably had this in corporates, is that like, you know, something will just suddenly get prioritized out of nowhere, and you're sort of scrambling around to get the designs done for that project. So in many cases, like, it's coming last minute and you're having to figure out where it sits among your other bits of work. But yeah, communication is key when it comes to that. Like, how long is it going to take you, and when do you think you're going to get those designs in a state to be handed over? Yeah, I guess the tricky bit is it's really hard to estimate timelines when you know that the solution isn't maybe in the design system today. So you're having to design something that, that follows a different pattern. And so that requires like the testing, usability testing, and that can take time, especially for like recruiting. So yeah, I totally get your point. I think it can just be a little bit difficult when you've got competing priorities, and situations where like the solution maybe isn't clear from the offset.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, coming up to the second to last point.
Penultimate one. Okay, here we go. So, we've talked a little bit about like involving designers and developers at different stages. I really love involving developers at the ideation stage. So I'll say to you usually, you know, do you want to be involved, and give you the option, because maybe you've got like other things on. And so you say yes. And then I'll like plan a design workshop where we can like thrash out some solutions together.
No.
And it comes to the sketching process, and you never want to get involved. You say things like, oh, I'm bad at sketching. And I'm like, well, you asked to be involved. So here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I don't know but a lot of engineers don't want to be involved in this like very early processes of ideation or something.
Okay.
Because I think it has to do with like how we are trained to think, that we solve problems, we're implementing things and we're building things.
Okay.
And we're not like necessarily, like a lot of engineers don't think that the coming up with ideas is part of their responsibility. And then I think we pull out a bit. I don't know if this is right, because I think we engineers, we have a lot of like good perspective that could give you input, but a lot of times that's too vague and too, how do you say, unstructured for an engineer, right?
Yeah, honestly, like some of my favorite engineers to have worked with are ones that do engage with that design process, because, you know, especially ones that have worked in the company for a really long time, and they know the design patterns that are being used maybe on different parts of the experience, and can offer that like perspective to a designer. And in that design process, they're able to talk about like feasibility as well. So, you know, you're covering it in like a more engaging way than saying, no, we can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get to the last point, and the most annoying point, I want to say one thing, which I already learned from this video, is I always had a bias that when I hire engineers and someone said, yeah, the typical career, I study computer science, I'm an engineer forever, or someone said like, I had a different profession before, for example, design, and now I learned how to code. I always love to hire them much more than the typical engineer, because I think exactly what we're talking about, the different perspective gives
Yeah.
so much value, right?
That's so true. And vice versa. I think if I was going to hire a designer, I would love someone that also has come from a coding background, because they know what
Yeah.
language, is used, or like how coders think. So yeah.
So
Great.
just learn both.
Yeah.
Okay, coming now to the most annoying point.
Are you ready? Okay.
I don't know.
So this is kind of similar to the point about spacing, but way, way, way worse. So, as a designer, I spend a lot of time coming up with the solution, and it's, a prideful point of the project when I hand over those designs to you, the developer. And I give them to you and I say, have you got everything that you need? And you're like, yeah. And then you go away, you do your coding thing, and you come back and you say, it's done. And then you show me the design, the build, and it's nothing like the designs. It kills me. It's so much like, Pinterest versus reality. Like, there have been moments where I've literally thought, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I don't even know what I should answer. Why do you think that is? Why do you think this is a shitty developer?
It's just shitty, yeah.
That must be really annoying, because I know you also spend a lot of time on like ideating, coming up with that, and like
Yeah.
finalizing it, right? And like ironing out the last details. And then if it's nothing like that, why did you do all the work, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's even more annoying for you, I guess, when we're coming back and saying, no, fix this, fix that, like do all of these changes. I'm like, we could have avoided this if you just got it right first time,
I think we just become more empathetic both after this video.
I think so.
Okay, now coming to my most annoying thing about designers, which is small changes that have a huge technical impact. So sometimes you're saying like, here's the design, and then we build it, and then you say, oh, wait a minute, can you put the button somewhere else? And we basically have to rewrite the whole architecture. And this is, I think most engineers will feel that, but this is the most annoying thing, I think, to us engineers.
Yeah, no comment.
So I think on the last 2 points, we fully understand the pain of the other.
I think so. This has been like enlightening. I'm gonna go easy on developers in future.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you will?
Me too. I think we both had the same point, that we need to collaborate more, and maybe also to communicate more between designers and engineers, and to get rid of all the unclarities before, right?
Yep. Early and often. Yep.
Early and often. Communicate more with your designers or engineers.
What do you think? What's the most annoying thing for you about designers or developers?
Yeah. Write it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.
Bye.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Do you think it was okay?
Yeah, it was great. Nice.